Life's a battlefield. Your mind is the commander, and words, your soldiers. Hidden in the crevices of language and behavior, there's a brutal power that few truly master, the art of persuasion. But why should you care about persuasion? Simple. It's the secret weapon that changes the game. It can make the world listen, act, and even dance to your tune. Still with me? Excellent. It's not an easy path, but the reward is very worth it. Here are 6 secrets to help you master this power and see how massive the results of wielding this power will have in your life. Secret 1. Know your audience. Every conversation, every interaction is a dance. You sway and twirl, attempting to sync your rhythm with your partners. Now, what's the secret to a flawless dance? It's knowing your partner, reading their moves, matching their rhythm. In the grand dance of life, your partner is your audience, whoever it is in front of you. Your customers, the girl you've seen in the library, your boss. Any one of these is your audience. Consider Elon Musk, the maverick entrepreneur. Why does his every word make headlines? Why do investors flock to him, consumers love him, and naysayers watch him in anticipation? The answer? He knows his audience. He understands their pulse, their desire for innovation, their thirst for the future, and he plays into it. When he talks of Mars colonization or electric vehicles, he's tapping into their latent desires, their unspoken dreams. Understanding your audience isn't just about gathering data or drawing demographics. It's about diving into their psyche, navigating the labyrinth of their emotions, hopes, fears, and dreams. It's about showing genuine interest. You don't just ask about their favorite color. You delve into why it's their favorite. You don't just ask about their job. You explore what it means to them, how it shapes their life. This deep understanding is more than a tactical move. It's an exercise in empathy. When you show genuine interest, you make your audience, the person in front of you, feel seen, heard, and important. They're not a statistic or a demographic. They are not just a number or just a face, but rather they're an individual with unique experiences, thoughts, and feelings. When you acknowledge this, you make a powerful connection. So how can you apply this in your life? It's not about grand gestures or dramatic declarations. It's about listening more than speaking. It's about being curious, asking thoughtful questions, showing sincere interest. When you do this, you'll find your conversations becoming more meaningful. Knowing your audience, my friend, is the opening gambit in the game of persuasion. It's the foundation on which you build your strategies. And once you master it, the world becomes your chessboard. Let's explore how to make our next move. Secret 2. The Bond of Rapport. Have you ever struck up a conversation with a stranger, only to discover you both share a love for the same obscure indie band or the same underrated book? Suddenly, the stranger isn't so strange. You're connected by a shared passion, an invisible thread that instantly binds you. This, my friend, is the power of rapport. Let's look at a real-world example. Networking events. You enter a room, the air buzzing with chatter, people milling about, exchanging business cards. You spot someone across the room, someone you've been meaning to connect with for weeks, but you have no common ground. So you strike up a conversation, asking questions, digging deeper, searching for that shared passion. Suddenly you stumble upon it. A love for rock climbing. Their face lights up and a door opens. That's it. You've built rapport. Rapport isn't about surface-level niceties or empty compliments. It's about tapping into shared experiences, mirroring emotions, resonating with feelings. You find the emotional threads, the ones that ignite passion, trigger insecurities, or invoke nostalgia. Then, you weave these threads into a shared narrative. You make them feel seen, heard, understood. But here's the catch. It's not just about you understanding them. It's about them understanding you too. Share your stories, your experiences. Don't just mirror their passions, express yours. When you open up, you don't just share your narrative, you invite them to be a part of it. It's this reciprocity, this shared understanding, that solidifies your bond. The power of rapport, then, isn't just about building bridges. It's about fortifying them. It's about making your connections not just stronger, but also deeper and more meaningful. You might think it's a subtle art, but its impact is profound. You don't just connect with people on a superficial level. You connect with their emotions, their experiences, their stories. This rapport is what caused people to be open to you and what you say, allowing them to be influenced by your words. If you want to master persuasion, first master the art of building rapport. Secret 3. Spark the imagination. In the canvas of our minds, imagination is the paintbrush. It's what transforms ideas into landscapes, emotions into stories. And when it comes to persuasion, it's your secret weapon. Ever listened to a song and found yourself lost in the melody, the lyrics painting vivid images in your mind? That's the power of imagination at work. Look at J. Cole, one of the greatest rappers of his generation. His raps aren't just music, they're stories. Stories that transcend time and space by immersing listeners into his world. That's what you aim for as a master of persuasion. To spark imagination, to paint pictures with your words, to transport your audience to a different realm. It's not just about what you say, but also how you say it. You employ insinuation, nonverbal cues, suspense. Instead of stating facts, you tell stories. Instead of giving answers, you provoke questions. You want your audience to think, wonder, dream. You want them to explore the terrain of their own minds, to map out their own conclusions. A person who embodied this skill in the business world was Steve Jobs. His product launches weren't mere announcements, they were performances. He didn't just talk about the features, he built a narrative around them. He presented the iPhone not just as a device, but as a revolution. He ignited curiosity, stirred excitement, sparked imagination. He didn't just sell a product, he sold a dream. To spark imagination, you need to resonate with your audience, not just mentally, but also emotionally. You want to leave an imprint, a footprint in the sand of their thoughts. It's not just about being heard, it's about being remembered. It's about leaving a lasting impact that lingers long after the conversation ends. Secret 4. The power of pause. In the symphony of conversation, silence is not the absence of sound. It's the interval that amplifies the melody. The power of pause is often underestimated, yet it's a potent tool in the art of persuasion. Consider a suspense thriller. You're on the edge of your seat, heart pounding, breath held. The protagonist opens the door, and then silence. That pause, that moment of anticipation, that's what sends chills down your spine. It's what amplifies the suspense, the thrill, the engagement. The same principle applies in communication. When you pause, you create anticipation, curiosity, suspense. You give your audience a moment to absorb your words, to reflect on them, to weave them into their thoughts. Look at the speeches of former President Barack Obama. Notice the deliberate pauses, the moments of silence that punctuate his words. Each pause adds weight to his message, drawing the audience in, commanding their attention. His pauses aren't just breaks in speech. They're part of the speech, an integral part of his narrative. The power of pause isn't just about controlling your narrative. It's also about controlling your thoughts. It gives you time to think, to formulate your next statement, to navigate the terrain of the conversation. It allows you to articulate your thoughts with clarity, to ensure your message is not just heard, but also understood. In your journey to master persuasion, embracing the power of pause is like adding a new weapon to your arsenal. It's about recognizing that silence isn't just an absence, but a presence that commands attention, evokes anticipation, and ultimately amplifies your message. Secret 5. Authenticity, the real deal. While persuasion is about weaving spells with your words with emotions holding great sway on what type of response you get from people based on how good you are at leading their emotions, authenticity stands tall. It's the currency that buys trust, the compass that navigates through skepticism. Think back to the time you walked into a store and were greeted by a salesperson. Was it their rehearsed pitch that won you over, or their genuine enthusiasm for the product? Chances are, it was the latter. Authenticity cannot be faked or manufactured. It's a tangible vibe that resonates from within. Here's a story. There's a successful entrepreneur, let's call him Mark. He didn't build his business on buzzwords or slick marketing. Instead, he led with authenticity. When pitching to investors, he didn't just talk about profits or projections. He spoke about his journey, his vision, his failures, and his learning. His authenticity resonated with the investors, and they bought not just into his business, but into his belief. But authenticity isn't just about being yourself. It's about being your best self. It means avoiding behaviors that repel, like self-absorption, judgment, or constant chatter. Instead, focus on empathy, on genuine interest, on truly understanding the other person. If persuasion is a game, authenticity is your highest card. It's not a mask you put on, but a shield that protects you, a banner that represents you. It isn't a trick, it's a trait that makes you not just a persuader, but a leader. Authenticity is your fifth step towards mastering persuasion. Secret 6. Effective communication. Here's a raw truth. Persuasion without effective communication is like a ship without a sail. It might look impressive, but it's going nowhere. To command the power of persuasion, you need to master the art of communication. You're not just broadcasting messages. Communication is a two-way street. It involves active listening, where you're not just hearing words, but interpreting emotions, thoughts, intentions. Let's look at the rise of Oprah Winfrey. How did she go from a local talk show host to a global media icon? Sure, she's persuasive, but more importantly, she's an excellent communicator. She listens to understand, not just to respond. She knows when to steer the conversation and when to let it flow. And then there's speaking. Every word counts, every phrase matters. You're not just throwing darts, you're aiming for a bullseye. To do that, you need to refine your language, read widely, write regularly, expand your vocabulary, observe great speakers, refine your style. Elon Musk, with his radical ideas and ventures, is another master of communication. He doesn't just sell electric cars or space travel, he sells a vision of the future. He chooses his words carefully, speaks with conviction, and communicates complex ideas with simplicity and clarity. Effective communication is your final step in mastering persuasion. It takes you beyond the realm of influence and into the realm of impact. You've added depth with authenticity. Now it's time to broaden your horizons with communication. Remember, the path to power doesn't end with persuasion. It begins with it. The power of persuasion is immense, but remember to use it wisely. After all, it's not just about how to seduce anyone and become powerful, but about how to inspire, connect, and lead. As I usually say, don't take my words as it is at face value. Put it to the test for yourself. Think through it and come to your own conclusions. That is the trait of a man, a leader. So are you ready to change your life? Master the art of persuasion. Go be great, brothers.